Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. There's a big Australian boxing bonanza on Saturday the 22nd of March. This is over in Sydney, and one of the fights is none other than Skye Nicolson defending her WBC featherweight title against the US's Tiara Brown. Now, both these ladies are undefeated. Skye, 12 wins with 1 KO. No draws, no defeats. But Tiara, who is 7 years older than Skye at 36, she's 18-0, no draws with 11 KOs. And that's a very high percentage for the women's game because the women, as you probably know, they do 2-minute rounds. Usually, to get a stoppage, you might need more than 2 minutes in a round. You know, it can vary. I mean, you get the odd banger like, Gabriela Fundora, who hits very hard. But most of the ladies, they're not one-punch hitters. And they need to grind down the opponent. And very often, the 2 minutes isn't quite enough to get their work done. But nevertheless, if you look at Tiara Brown's record, I mean, there are the 11 KOs out of 18 wins, but the quality of the opposition is overall weak, very weak. I looked at her record. I've seen a handful of her fights, like bits and pieces, and I've seen a few fights completed. The quality of the opposition is poor. Probably the best name was Gabriela Bouvier I think she's from Uruguay. Now, she's got a very patchy record, Gabriela, but she is a former IBF flyweight champ, so that's a few divisions below featherweight. And she was outpointed in over 10 by Tiara Brown. That was mid last year, 2024. Like I say, Gabriela Bouvier is, I think she's got about 12, 14, something like that, 14 defeats on her record. Most of them are points defeats. So she blows hot and cold, but at least she has been a former champion at a much lower weight, although when she fought Tiara Brown, she was completely whitewashed. All 10 rounds went to Tiara on all 3 cards. Apart from that name, I really couldn't see anyone that sprang out and hit me. So I think probably Tiara's record it rather flatters to deceive, put it that way. Now, Skye is very different. She's a former Olympian, 12 wins, like I say, 1 KO. She's a southpaw. Tiara's orthodox. Skye has beaten some very good females. She was last seen beating Raven Chapman, who was previously undefeated. That was over 10. That was a world title fight. Sarah Mahfoud, she beat her over 10 points. She rarely loses around, Skye does. I mean, Dinah Vargas was another one with a good record. I think she was whitewashed by Skye. Lucy Wildheart got stopped. That's the only stoppage on Skye's record. She got stopped in 9. I mean, there's just no one really that has given Skye a tough fight except for one woman. And I've seen all of Skye's fights. And this lady is from Spain. Her name is Tanya Alvarez. And this lady, I swear to God, in the opening couple of rounds, I would have sworn that Tanya Alvarez had never seen a boxing ring before. She had no technique whatsoever other than to walk forward, completely disdaining defence, and throw punches at Skye. And I think she was so unorthodox and so odd in her style, and the ability to soak up punishment from Tanya Alvarez was scary because Skye was hitting her with everything. And in fact, even though it was 10 2-minute rounds, which usually favours Skye's sort of fencing style, round 8, 9, 10, Skye began to tire. And Alvarez, who was sort of marked up, I don't think she had any cuts, but she had some, bruises and black eyes and everything. But she was getting to Skye amazingly. The first couple of rounds, you thought this is going to be a stoppage in the won't go more than 4 rounds. By the end of the fight, Alvarez, who you could not put a dent in her jaw, she was grinding Skye down. And if these were 3-minute rounds, if it had been 10-3s instead of 10-2s, she might have beaten Skye because Skye was looking absolutely exhausted by the end of that fight, and she was actually wobbling a bit, as it not through because she was buzzed, but because she just seemed fatigued. So I suppose that gives Tiara Brown a little bit of hope, because Tiara's style is, even though she's an orthodox fighter, she's slightly taller than Skye. I think her reach is longer by a couple of inches maybe. And she fires very straight punches. She jabs quite well, and the jab is usually accurate, but a lot of her punches are very straight. And her footwork, unfortunately for Tiara, her footwork isn't that quick. And I think to walk down Skye, who moves an awful lot and punches as she moves, I don't like Tiara's chances of being able to cut the ring off against Skye. She's also quite conservative with her output, Tiara. She doesn't fire an awful lot of punches. They tend to be quite hard. I mean, she loads up a bit, but with Sky Nicholson to beat her, I think you've got to have a high volume output. You've got to have, salvo after salvo of punches, and you've got to have quick feet. And you've got to really put it on her, and start from the opening seconds, because 10-2s, as we always say, 20 minutes of boxing is nothing really. It's only 2 minutes more than the men's 6-rounder. So to Skye, like I say, that sort of fencer style that she's got from the southpaw stance with very quick feet, you've got to start very, very early from the opening bell if you want to grind her down, because the 10-2s is made for her style, for Skye's style. So all things considered, I think that there's only one winner in this fight, and that is Sky Nicholson. I think Tiara Brown is very tough, but in all honesty, I can't see her winning more than a round or two against Skye, and it could even be a whitewash. I think Skye will widely outpoint Tiara Brown to retain her WBC title. And that's no disrespect to Tiara, but I just think there's a golfing class here, and I think Skye will retain her title. So what do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? If you do disagree, tell me why. Perhaps you think Tiara is kind of a live underdog, or maybe you think she's going to spring the upset. Whatever you think, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. I'll have a read of them. And if you like this video, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new. You're helping us out a great deal, and spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for your time. I'll catch you later. Bye for now.